This is the stock standard 3S GTE?
No, this is actually a Celica ST205 WRC edition 3S.
Wow, this is very rare.
Yeah, it's quite rare. So I actually found it from a half-cut shop who didn't actually know what engine it was.
Okay.
They just thought it was a regular 3S. So I picked it up for quite a good price.
It's from Celica. It's a four-wheel drive
Yep.
Engine, and you just convert to MR-2.
Yeah, because
is it all direct fit or
yeah,
you have to?
okay. The engine itself is pretty much the same as our MR2 3S. So only thing is the brackets and all that are a bit different. So we have to use back our MR2 brackets.
So basically, once you use back all the MR2 bracket, is basically the engine is direct fit.
Yes, plug and play.
Okay. So what is the difference of this Celica engine, the rally engine, compared to the stock Toyota MR2 engine?
Okay, so this being the special edition, they call it the WRC edition engine. It came standard with porting for anti-lag, water injection. So there are actually ports inside the intake that are actually manufactured and put that in place for when they use it for rally. So they basically, I think it's a homologation model. So basically they put everything there, and then if you want it, you just have to change your management and plumb it all in.
So are you running the Celica management, or you running the Toyota management? Or
I'm actually running a Celica ECU with a piggyback on top of it.
Yeah. Okay. How about the wiring? You have to swap the whole wiring, or you can use back the MR2 wiring?
The wiring actually on engine side is pretty much similar to the Celica.
Oh.
The only difference being is the Celica originally had air to water intercooler that was on top.
Okay.
I've changed it back to our original MR2 side mount. So yeah, it makes
What do you think about the water cooler intercooler than the side mount intercooler?
Well, I initially wanted to run the water to air intercooler, but it was too much work because you need to get a water pump and plumb the whole thing all the way to the front, and it would I mainly didn't want to add too much weight to the car because I use it for a bit of racing.
Are they running the same cooling system from the radiator water, or they're
No,
separating?
there's basically two radiators.
Oh, there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Too much work for that.
Yep.
Okay. So what is the power output currently?
Okay, so currently I'm limited by my clutch. So currently I'm only pushing about 315 on wheel because any higher than 1.3 bar I tend to have some clutch slip.
So 315, is it all stock ECU with piggyback, and how about the internal of the engine?
Okay, when I bought the engine, I dropped it and I basically rebuilt it from scratch. So I changed the bearings, I changed pistons, I sent it for balancing, for balancing, and I also changed the turbo and small supporting mods here and there.
So the interior, the piston and the rod, are you running the stock one, or are you running the forged one?
Forged ones.
Forged one.
Yep.
And how about your turbo?
Okay, so for my turbo, I'm running a GT28 RS by Garrett. So I was running a GD30 before this.
Bigger.
It's bigger. So for my application, it was fantastic on the highway. It felt really good, but it was pretty laggy. I would hit full boost about 4,000 to 5,000 RPM.
Okay.
So with this turbo, I hit full boost almost at 1,000 RPM earlier, at 3,000. So it's really
more responsive.
Yes.
On the earlier stage.
And for the power goals that I'm trying to hit, the GT28 RS is better for my application because I'm only looking to make, at the end of the day, probably around 350, 360 wheel. So this turbo can easily do that. So
it's enough for you currently?
Yep.
So are you looking for any next upgrade after this for the engine?
Engine side, I think I'm pretty much done with the engine. So probably just supporting mods like an engine damper, standalone ECU, and certain supporting mods here and there. That's it.
Okay, we see this is the two ventilation fan,
Yep.
which is Toyota original MR-2 don't come with this one, right?
Yep. No.
So what made you decide to do this extra fan for this one?
So, being mid-engine, the cooling system in this car is a bit of an issue, especially in weathers like Malaysia, where it's super hot. So, to help cool down the engine bay a bit, especially for, let's say, at a Gymkhana event or a race event where you're waiting to your turn to go in, it gets pretty hot in here. So these fans come on automatically. When engine, it has a sensor there, which when it senses it's a bit too hot, it will turn on automatically and cool off the engine.
So the sensor actually start to let the fans running at what temperature for the this engine bay?
So temperature-wise, I'm not too sure on what temperature, because this is actually an original sensor.
From
Toyota.
Toyota.
So this actually, in original form, it would actually activate the intercooler fan.
Oh, okay.
So now what I've done is I've bridged it from the intercooler fan and also to this. So when the temperature gets too hot, it will turn on the fans over here and also on the bottom.
So they only get the room temperature to run the fans.
Yes.
Then how about is the sensor is from original MR-2?
Yes, it's an original MR-2 sensor.
For the intercooler.
Yes.
So how much these two fan help actually you?
Quite a lot. So from my experience, before I would actually feel a lot of heat stroke. The car would run very sluggish and all that. And also after a run, if you even open up the engine bay after a run, it's super hot. You can feel the heat just hitting you in the face. But once you run these fans, it's actually pretty. You can literally just open it after a run, and it's still quite decent.
It's helped a lot.
Yep.
Even the internal water temperature on radiator is help also?
The internal water temperature you can't really see, but engine oil temperature you can see.
Oh, from the engine oil actually you see the big difference?
A bit lah. You can see it's fairly noticeable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we see you are running HKS air filter.
Yes.
And why you are running stainless steel intercooler pumping, as actually stainless steel actually is more hot?
Well, because this is aftermarket turbo and everything, it's very hard to get what do you call normal piping. So in Malaysia, I think it's the easiest way is to go for stainless steel. So yeah, it used to be wrapped with a heat wrap, but I am actually planning to redo my intercooler system to run it a bit higher on top. So yeah.
Okay, wastegate. What wastegate you running?
I'm running a TurboSmart 40mm wastegate. So yeah.
Okay, and your
intercooler. I'm running
your intercooler and your blow off.
Okay, I'm running a G-ready intercooler and a HKS SQV blow off.
Alright. So the rear cover of the head cover is you painted?
Yeah, I painted it.
This is a Type R MR-2. What suspension are you running currently?
Currently, I'm running Olin's coilovers with Swiss springs.
Oh, that's very good mesh.
Yeah.
Because Swiss spring is one of the best
Yeah,
springs.
it's very good for people who love to drive the car spiritually on the weekends and also take it for a track day. So it's a bit firm for daily driving and on our normal roads, but once you take it to a back road, twisty back road, or a toge or track, it feels very suited.
So the front and back also running the Olin suspension.
Yes.
What do you think about Olin suspension?
I've tried quite a lot of combos with this car. So I initially started with body clubs, and then I moved to Tiens, Tanabes. In my experience so far, they were all very good for circuit, meaning they were super stiff, but they were horrible on the road. The Olins give a good balance of daily, street driving and also track driving.
What is this spray for actually?
Okay, so this is my water spray system for my intercooler. So being, like I say, mid-engine, we have a lot of issues with heat soak. So this is actually controlled by within the car. So if I feel like it's too hot, I would spray a fine mist of water onto the intercooler to cool it down.
So you have to reset up or remake the whole system for this spray?
No. Basically, I have a water tank stored in the car, which there's water and then there's pipes running under the car to the intercooler. And it's just basically a simple water pump to activate it and spray it there.
So you no need to storage another tank of water.
Yeah.
So MR-2, as we all know, is a mid-engine.
Yep.
Do you face any trouble for the cooling system, as the engine at the back and the cooling system is in the
Okay, MR-2s actually have a very good cooling system from standard. We actually run almost 14 liters of water in the car because our pipes go all the way from the back to the front of the car. So it's actually a very, very good very good radiator system from standard.
Because it's run further, it's better.
There's more water for it, and there's also there's a lot of time for it to cool down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense because it's more water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So usually, so basically, there's no heat problem or temperature problem.
Okay, the issue being because there's so much water and the pipes are so long, the issue comes when mechanics or owners do not know how to bleed it properly. So if it's not bled properly, then there's air in the system, it can be very bad for a car. You can get an airlock, and also it'll definitely overheat very fast, because imagine there's 14 liters of water and there's so much air that can possibly be trapped in the system. So bleeding this car would actually take on about 2 to 3 hours just to bleed the radiator system, whereas a normal car probably you can do it in like 10-20 minutes. Yeah.
So the bleeding is very
Yes.
important for
Yes.
the mid-engine car,
Yeah.
Especially the travel of the
Yeah.
piping are so far.
Yeah.
We've been talked a lot about this car, and you have explained a lot about this car. How about we go for a drive?
Sure, let's go.
Let's go. So guys, what do you think about this very cool MR-2? We're going to test drive after this. So remember, leave your comment, let us know what do you think about this car. And if you want to know more about this car, we're going for a test drive after this. Remember to stay tuned for the part 2 videos, and we talk more about this car with Johan. Alright, the owner know a lot about this car because he been with this car for 9 years, and he can share a lot of experience for the MR2. Subscribe to our channel Kazuto Garage, and Facebook and IG also Kazuto Garage, and leave your comment and share this video with your friend. We see you for the test drive.